Welcome to part 5. In this part, we will be looking at questions in IIT JEE that have previously come in from these chapters. Now remember, when we look at IIT JEE questions, there are two things that we need to understand. The basic concept that we have studied and its application. Everything that we need to do to solve these questions are based from the basic part and the application part. So let's move into the lecture and look at the IIT JEE questions. Hi. In this part, we'll look at some of the questions that have previously come in IIT JEE exams from these topics. Now for the first question that we have, let's look at the equation. I have the two functions as fx and gx. My fx says it is equal to sin x plus cos x and my gx says x square minus 1. I need to find for g of fx is invertible for x belonging to which region. Okay, so what do I have here? I have my fx is equal to sin x plus cos of x and my gx is equal to x square minus 1. Now I need to see for g of fx. Now you see this whole function has become the variable for this function now. So how do I write this? I write this will become my sin x plus cos x whole square minus 1, right? So this, if you solve it, this will become sin square x plus cos square x, which gives me 1 plus 2 sin x cos x. Now 1 and this 1 will get cancelled, so I'll have 2 sin x cos x, which will give me sin 2x, right? Now if I plot this on a graph, what will that graph look like? You see, I have this as my graph. My sin x will start from this region. Okay, now so in this case, how will this be invertible? If I look at this, this will be my minus pi by 2 and this will be my plus pi by 2. So this region will become minus pi by 4 and this region will become pi by 4. So this is the region that we are interested in. Okay, so you see my graph over here for this given function g of x, it is invertible from this region to this region. So for this case, it is invertible in minus pi by 4 to plus pi by 4. Okay, so that is all for this question. In the next question I have, if the function fx and gx are defined on R2R such that for fx it becomes 0 for x belonging in rational number and it becomes x if the function x is an irrational number. Similarly, it is vice versa the case in gx. Now for this given function, if I have f minus g of x, what will this become? It will become a 1 1 onto 1 1 but not onto, neither 1 1 nor onto, and 1 2 but not 1 1. Okay, now how do we look at this question? It's quite simple. Okay, let's say I have my fx is equal to 0 and x. These are the two conditions that I have, right? For 0 it is something and for x it is something, right? So it becomes my 0 when x belongs in rational number and x does not belong in, it is basically belonging in irrational number, and vice versa is the case for this. Right? So these are the cases that I have. Alright, now if I have my fx minus gx, okay, let this be capital F of x. Okay, so this will give me minus x and x, right? If x is rational, right? And it will give me x if x is irrational. Alright, now for this case I need to be clear that if I put it on a graph sheet, okay, I'll get a symmetrical condition like this for both the cases. This will be my 1 and this will be my 2. So in that case, what will happen, my fx is equals to fx minus gx, it is equal to minus x and x for x being in Q, for x not being in Q, right? So for this, what does this mean me? That my fx is 1 1. Also it is an onto function. Why? Because it lies in minus of x for x belonging in a rational region and x for x belonging in this region. Okay, so this will give me answer as option number 1. Okay, so that is question number 2. In question number 3, I have my fx is equals to x square and my gx is equals to sin x for all x belonging in R. Now this set of all x satisfying f of g of f for x is equal to g of x of fx, where f of g of x is this. Now I need to satisfy this condition where this has to belong. This will be satisfying only for this condition. How do I do it? I start by solving this. How? What is it given to me? It is given f of g of fx, right? It is equal to g of fx, right? This implies I get sin x square is equal to sin x square, right? If you solve that, it will imply you this. So this will give me sin of sin x square is equal to either 0 or 1, right? So for that case, I can get that my sin x square is equal to some m pi, right, where it is 4k plus 1 pi by 2, okay, some m pi into 4k plus 1 pi by 2, right? M and k belongs to I. Alright, now but I know that sin lies from this region, so for this I have x square is equal to some n pi, right, where my n is equals to 0 1 like this. Okay, so I get my x is equal to plus minus n pi. So x is equal to plus minus root under n pi, okay, where n will belong from 0 1 2 and so on. Okay, so this will be my answer for the third question. Pretty straightforward. I just need to figure out what these stand for, and I know the cases where what will satisfy my sin x. Okay, I simply put it in the condition and I get it from the variable part. Okay, now in the next question I have the function f from 0 to 3 to 1 to 29. It's very much specific. I usually have R to R, right? But in this case I have mentioned from 0 to 3 and 1 to 29 only. It is defined for fx is equals to 2x cube minus 15x square plus 36x plus 1 is what? Now, just like previous, the second question, I will be solving this. I have my fx is equals to 2x cube minus 15x square plus 36x plus 1. So if I differentiated my first derivative, it will give me as 6x square minus 30x plus 36, right? If I solve this, I'll get 6 into x minus 2 into x minus 3, right? This becomes a quadratic equation. I solve this, I'll get these two. Now, I use the technique of inequality, so I draw the number line, okay? This is my 0, this is my 2, this is my 3. Okay, now see this function. Okay, from 0 to 2 it will give you a positive value, from 2 to 3 it will give you a negative value, and after 3 again it gives you a positive value for f dash. Okay, now so the sign of f dash, it changes from 0 to 3, right? So in this case, this tells me that my function is 1 1, right? So f dash, so my f of 0 is equals to 1, okay, either case, f dash or f. Okay, f2 will be equal to sum 29, okay, and my f3 will give me 28. Just solve this. Okay, so the range becomes 1 to 29, right, in the given question. So the function is on 2 but not 1 1. Why? Because it is reflexive in this region. So my f dash x, that becomes 1 1, but my function fx will not be 1 1. Okay, so that is the answer for the fourth question. Let's look at the final question. My final question says, for any function from minus 1 to 1 to r such that f cos 4 theta is equals to 2 by 2 minus x square theta, where my theta belongs from 0 to pi by 2 union pi by 4 comma pi by 2, 0 to pi by 4 over here. Okay, so for this, how do I solve this? First of all, I need to figure this out. Cos 4 theta is equals to 1 by 3, okay, that I can grasp at. Now cos 4 theta can be written as 2 cos square theta minus 1, which is equals to 1 by 3. I solve that, I get cos 2 theta is equals to plus minus root under 2 by 3, right? Now I have my theta belongs from 0 to pi by 4 union pi by 4 to pi by 2, very small quadrants. So from this I can say that my 2 theta will belong from 0 comma pi by 2 union pi by 2 comma pi, right, simple multiplication. So my f of cos 4 theta equal to 2 cos square theta by 2 cos square theta minus 1. This gives me 1 plus cos 2 theta by cos 2 theta, which gives me 1 plus sec 2 theta. Alright, so I can get that f of cos 4 theta is nothing but 1 plus root under 3 by 2, inverse this over here, right, or 1 minus root under 3 by 2 for the plus minus. So this will be the answer for this question. Okay, so that is all that is there in this chapter. Okay, I hope you have understood all the queries. If not, just stay in touch. Thank you. Hi everyone. Now while going through the lecture, if you have any queries, you can post it on our website. First of all, you'll have to go to askIITians.com, and in this over here you'll find Ask a Question category. When you go to this page, you will have Ask Experts. In this you select your category of question and post it over here. You can also post an attachment if you have any, or else press get answer, put in your email ID and other details and post it. So these were all the 5 questions that have previously come in IIT JEE exam from these topics. These topics of function and logarithm that we have just completed. You see, we studied the basic definition. We also studied the different types of functions that we have. Also, the number of functions of various types comprising composite functions, periodic function, also odd and even function, and then we also studied inverse of the function. We also studied logarithm, a modern day mathematics form, and we studied the operations that we use in logarithm to simplify a simple function. So that is all in the topic of functions and logarithm. Stay tuned with Ask IITians for more videos. Thank you.